story that happens, okay?
The season finale of Entourage, Vince is getting married.
Okay, he gets married.
E's girlfriend's pregnant.
Gets his girlfriend pregnant.
Ari quits his job.
Ari quits his job. Different character? Quits his job?
They're all different characters.
Okay.
And then,
oh, these are three different characters.
Yeah.
Okay, so one character gets married, another character gets his girlfriend pregnant, another character quits his job, and then what happens?
And then at the end, E and his girlfriend get back together.
Who and whose girlfriend?
E and his girlfriend.
A whole other set of characters.
No, E is like the guy who got his girlfriend pregnant.
Okay, the girlfriend pregnant, they get pregnant and break up, and then they get back together. 4 story points. One couple gets married, one couple finds out that they're pregnant out of wedlock and break up. Another guy loses his job, and then the couple that broke up get back together. 4 story points. You follow me? Now that's in the TV show, where obviously we have supporting episodes to help us tell who these people are. Now how do we make that go into a play? Say I gave you that, I pitched you those 4 story points, and I said, alright, I love this sequence of events so much, I want you to turn it into a play. What would be some of the challenges? Anybody?
You'd have to give more background information.
Okay, so again, the TV gives us the support of knowing these people, so we care, right? Who cares if this guy lost his job if we don't know who he is, right? Who cares if they get married if we don't know who they are? They're just a couple on stage getting married. Yeah, okay, it's colorful and interesting, but it's not going to be as much as if it's Anthony and Lexi who've like been at each other's throats for like 5 years, but we know that they were destined to be together and finally they get married, right? That's another deal entirely, right? Okay? So we have to figure out how we're going to make this important to people. Personalize this. Okay? So let's say, what are the other challenges of putting it on play? So if those 4 different things, those sound like those happen 4 different places, right? Now, in an hour and 20 minutes, if we're going to go to 4 various different locations, how are we going to communicate that those locations exist on the same stage? How can we do that?
Background.
Well, we'd have to change the set, or the people on that stage would have to somehow talk so much about where they were that we would get the picture as to where they were, right? They'd have to be up there, wow, you know, good thing we're getting married here in Miami Beach, you know, woo, it's hot, you know? Something like that would have to happen. Either that or we'd have to have some scenery to tell the story, okay? Which is one of the reasons that we often compress locations in the theater to happen one place. So now, if we wanted to take all 4 of those events and compress them into one location and a limited cast of characters, how would we do it? Just off the top of your head, anybody. It doesn't have to conform in any way to what went on in the TV show. I got these 4 events. A marriage, somebody finds out that somebody's pregnant, they break up, somebody loses their job, another character, and then the couple that broke up get back together again. How could I put that all in one location? Anybody? Come on, you guys. How can I do it? Well, where could it take place?
Vegas.
Hmm?
Vegas.
All takes place in Vegas. How would I know about all these different things happening? Huh? It happens at somebody's home? Okay. And then how would all these 3 things come together, be linked? So we could find out all these different things happened.
We can make them all live together.
Oh, they all live together. Okay, that's possible. And hey, you're laughing? Come on. How many shows do we see this? Right? Reality TV shows, right? Those same events all happen geographically, it happens in one place. In fact, reality TV's got a lot in common with theater. Because supposedly it's supposed to be low production value. That's why it's really, really happening. Although we know it's really not really, really happening. It's sort of a level of reality. Interesting that a level of reality that they achieved by making it more like theater and less like TV. Right? Less following people around, unless it's like in a cab or something, right? The camera doesn't move around as much. None of those cuts happen. Okay? Because that denotes sort of an omnipotent POV, right? If you're breaking up when you guys are breaking up, and we wonder how that's affecting you as you're walking down the street, we got to follow you and sort of look at your face, right? Well, if that happens, then we question who is the camera, who's holding the camera if it's a reality TV, right? It would have to happen in the house. But if it's a regular TV show, we just follow you along. But in the theater, that's not going to be affected because you're just going to be walking across stage, right? At a distance. We're not going to be able to be up close and seeing what's going on in your head. So how would we find that out? How would we know what was going on in your head? Nelson? Get in the game. How would we do it? You're sending me 5 emails a weekend, and then you're sitting in the back of my class dozing? Give me a break. So how would we know what's going on in this? Go ahead.
Dialogue?
Exactly. He's going to have to say something to somebody. Okay? He's going to need to say something to somebody. So now, Nelson, I'm zooming in on you, bro. So, we've got this house. So we've narrowed the location down to one place. These people all have one thing in common. They all live in one house. Okay? The guy that got married lives with, this is the theater version. Okay? The guy that got married lived with the couple, guy or a girl that got pregnant, blah, blah, blah. The guy that, they all lived in one place. The guy that lost his job. Okay? So that's one thing they all got in common. That's how we nail it down to one location. So how do we find out about all this information if it happens somewhere else?
I like it dinner.
When they come back together again and sit down? Okay? That's possible. So they'll have to talk about it, right? And we'll have to have a central character who needs to know this information for some reason, right? Whatever. Mother, drug dealer, somebody, right? Who's sitting there taking this in for some reason. And, or one person that we focus on who seems to have this stuff deeply affect them. Okay? So maybe if Kelsey is the girl that gets married, and it's her sister who is the one that gets pregnant, and it's her brother who is the one that loses her job, then all of a sudden it sort of becomes about Kelsey trying to be happy. Right? She's trying to get married, she's trying to get on with her life, she's trying to get out of college and get on with her life, get married to this guy that she digs, but at the very time that she's getting married, all this terrible stuff is happening to people in her family and sort of bumming her out. So we're very interested in how this is affecting Kelsey. Does this story start to now sound like another genre to you? What genre do we have out there where we see the same group of characters all the time, all in a very limited set, only it isn't theater?
Sitcom.
Sitcom? Yes, which is very much like theater. What else? If it's not comedy. Bingo. Daytime TV. Okay? Because the people that are watching that are committed to watching it every day, so they can watch these characters develop over a long period of time, and those casts tend to be very limited. People like me come in, we have like maybe 5 lines, or we're on for the day, that's it. Those people have been on those shows for decades, some of them. Okay? It's just a different kind of way of telling the story. But again, it could be a storyline that somebody pitched or used to work for Days of Our Lives, and now they're pitching it to HBO, and it becomes a storyline for Entourage. Okay? Or they wrote it in a play, and it was basically this big dinner party, and it was Kelsey's, all about Kelsey and her crazy friends, and her trying to get happy with her life, and all these crazy things happen the same day, and it was a play, and it's so obscure nobody's ever even heard of the play, but then he gets to Hollywood and he pitches it to HBO. Is it on HBO, Entourage?
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden, it's a storyline in Entourage. You feeling me? Okay? So when you're thinking about your story, it's not that you can't write about this particular set of events. You can. But it's where your focus is. What kind of conflict are you focused on? So I'm going to share with you just a couple of different things. Let's cut it off for a second.